Good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a good one. Start of the week. I hope it's going to be an easier week, and hopefully it's downhill from there. Okay, getting my own notifications. Right, so today I'm taking your questions. A couple of you have sent me some questions regarding money. Whatever questions you have, just type it up in the comments, and hopefully the comment thread won't be too fast and I'll get to read them. But in the meantime, I'll answer a few. But before I do that, there were a couple of questions about the mastermind I spoke about. Now, if you watch the live on the 5 laws of gold, we spoke about having a mentor in terms of your finances, and somebody said it was very difficult to find a mentor here. So I suggested a mastermind group, part of a business mastermind that I am with in the US. But I figured, why can't we apply the same concept here, where people who are that need that kind of mentorship, it can happen in a group setting. Obviously, when it comes to finances, it is very personal. Whatever we can share on a group setting, we can, and then we can go on one-on-one. So I'm calling it the Road to Mastermind, the Road to Investing Mastermind. Okay. The Road to Investing Mastermind, it's for those people that have a lot of debt. You're paying maybe 30 to 60% of your income, of your salary towards debt payments. You want to invest, you follow this channel a lot and it makes sense to you, but this debt is just holding you back and you want to get rid of it. Then this is the kind of mastermind for you. If you're already investing and debt is not an issue for you, then this is not the mastermind for you. If you're already in debt review or in debt counseling, this is not for you. If you don't have an income, this is unfortunately not for you. Work on getting your income. But if that debt part is what you're struggling with, the knowledge part is what you're struggling with, then the Road to Investing Mastermind is something that you need to consider. Okay, so some of my goals of this mastermind is, one, to start preparing you to start investing in terms of your knowledge and getting your finances together, getting rid of debt, establishing financial behavior, good financial behavior, and financial discipline. And also, because we're in a group setting, because we're in a mastermind, there's going to be a lot of accountability and a lot of hand holding in this process. So at the end of this mastermind series, I'm hoping for you to have a debt plan where you'll start paying off your debt while we're in the mastermind. You'll continue with a debt repayment plan. You'll have an emergency fund set up. You'll have your financial foundation in place, and you're ready to start investing from there. Okay, if this is for you, DM me. Okay, I can't work with everybody, unfortunately. I'm gonna limit it to just 10 people. So the first 10 people that sign up, that's who I'm gonna work with. It's not for free. Unfortunately, you tend to find that when you give away stuff for free, people don't value it. So there's gonna be a price to it. It's not gonna be some exorbitant price. It's gonna be a price to help you be accountable, to show up for weekly meetings, and do the tons of homework that I will be giving you in order to get your finances in order. Come to the one-on-ones. It's a 4-month mastermind, okay, starting in August all the way to November, depending on your level of debt. I don't know if you'll be ready for December, but at the very least, give you a path on how you can start the road to investing. So DM me if you're keen on that. First 10 people only. All right, I saw a question here. Where do you sign up? Okay, you DM me and I'll send you a form. I haven't even come up with a form yet, so people have been bugging me for it. So I just threw a few ideas together. I saw a question. What would be the best way to pay off your car debt quicker so you can finally own it? All right, so one, you're going to have to realign your budget. You're going to find the extra money. Are you spending extra on eating out? Where you're bleeding money? Where is the frivolous spending happening? And then you got to commit to yourself to be disciplined enough to cut out that extras and pay extra towards that debt. All right, if you can get additional income, work overtime, a side hustle, sell stuff. Selling is big. Everybody sells. Just few of us realize that we are sellers and we tend to master it. But everybody is in sales, whether you realize it or not. And even if you're not selling a product for somebody else, you're selling yourself, you're selling your time. And the quicker you realize that you're in sales and you need some sales techniques, the better off you're going to be. All right, so sell stuff. Stuff that you don't need in your home, buy and sell stuff. Get some extra income and put that towards your debt if your budget does not allow. Okay, so let me go to my list since there's no other questions. Okay, can you tell us more about fire? Okay, so fire is not something that I readily talk about on my channels, mainly because it's not something I really believe in. So FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. Now, I'm big on financial independence. I'm not so big on retirement. For me personally, although I help you guys plan for your retirement, I don't believe in traditional retirement. I believe the brain should be working. It's a biblical thing I learned from Rabbi Daniel Lapin, and he says that in Hebrew, in God's language, there's no actual word for retirement. You got to be working. You got to be adding value. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be working at this pace when I retire. Probably going to slow it down. But traditional retirement where you wake up when you want and do whatever you want, that's not for me. So, but I know that's a dream of many people. Okay, many of you want that. You want that leisure time. Wake up when you want. Go where you want. Mainly because you don't do it now. You are tied to a boss. You're tied to a job. And I don't know how this thing came about, really. Financial independence, retire early. I somehow feel it was from a single person without any children. When you have children, the retirement is the last thing on your mind. The cost of children is very expensive. So the idea behind it is there's this number that in terms of monetary terms that you need to save, and you invest this money, and you can make small withdrawals from this money to pay yourself a salary every year, and then you live off that. Okay, there's a formula for that. So you take your annual expenses. All right, so if your expenses are 20,000 Rand a month, so bare minimum here, not the BMW payments and all of that. So you take your lights, your water, that kind of thing, medical aid, multiply it by 25, and then you get your fire number. So if your expenses are 20,000 Rand a month, let's say that's 240 a year, multiply that by 25, that's 5.7 million, and then you draw about 4% a year. And hopefully from that, you will only live off the profit portion and not eat into the capital. It's a great idea. The maths make sense. What I don't like is it doesn't consider taxes. Okay, so if you are withdrawing, if you're under 65, and you're withdrawing whatever percentage you're withdrawing from this lump sum investment, and let's say your income is 220,000 Rand a year. One, you're in an 18% tax bracket. Okay, that's 40,000 Rand a year going on taxes. Okay, it doesn't consider inflation. Inflation is up and down. We saw it during lockdown. Inflation was like 3%. Now they're telling us it's 6.5%, but the fuel price is raised by a third, and it's unrealistic that our inflation rate is actually 6.5%. Education inflation is at 8%. Education inflation is at 9%. Health inflation is at just under 8% for this year. So it doesn't really take into account taxes and inflation, and so it's very linear. And nobody can guarantee you taxes. Taxes only go up. Maybe you'll get a little loophole here or there, but taxes only go up. Inflation goes up. Cost of living goes up. So eventually you're going to be withdrawing more from that lump sum and eating more into that capital. Okay. Now, I do believe in financial independence. I like people to have that liberty of not being tied to a job, of living free. If you want to get up at any time, you should be able to do it now. And I guess that's why I'm a big fan of business. But business takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot more hours to get going. So if you want to live this FIRE concept, I don't believe that it should only be in paper assets. Property is great because if you find the right property and if you do the work, you can find the right property and get rental income. And rental income is something that can increase with the right kind of property in the right area. It increases every year. Hopefully, it's increasing at inflation. And then have another portion in paper assets. I believe that having everything in paper assets, I don't think you can retire. Not when you're dependent on the markets and nobody can guarantee you the markets. If there's a market crash, what are you going to do? Go back to work? All right, so yeah, so that's FIRE. I don't believe in it personally, so most likely I wouldn't be talking about it on this channel again. I'm only talking about it because you asked me. All right, there were a couple of questions during the day, and somebody asked me about credit scores and banks and things like that. Now, banking is a whole different segment of finance that I am not involved in, but I am doing some research on that. I'm gonna make a couple of calls and try and get that question answered for you. And the next time we do a session like this, maybe next month, I can answer those questions on how you can improve your credit score and get better rates and things like that. Paper assets are investments on paper, like your unit trust, your ETFs, like gold ETFs, shares. All of that is paper assets because it's something that you're holding in your hand. Like a gold coin, that is something tangible. You buy it, you put it in your pocket, and it's yours. It's 100% yours. But a paper asset, it's basically transactions in the bank, your signature on paper, and then you get a paper certificate and a confirmation of the asset. It's just paper. Okay. Where is the best place to invest 60,000 Rand for income? All right, so 60,000 is not, it's not a big sum of money. Depends on what income that you want to get. I think some of your background story was that you were retrenched and this is your retrenchment package. Look, it's very hard. Okay, so 60,000 is not a lot. Our interest rates are low. I know we're all complaining that it's higher, but it is lower than pre-COVID levels. So interest income is very difficult. We also have to consider taxes. I doubt 60,000 will give you more taxes that will exceed the exemption of 23,800. So if you're looking for guaranteed income, the best way to go is the banks, unless you do it on the money market accounts or the money market funds through a unit trust or a tax-free investment. So 60,000 is just really small. If I had 60,000, if I only had 60,000, I would be buying and selling something small, something I can buy and sell really quickly, something that's really in need, and to grow that 60,000 into bigger lump sum. Okay, where can I get the best interest rate? Okay, I think we spoke about this in our last session. We spoke about the best returns of investments. There's different kinds of returns. You get dividends, you get interest. The best interest rate, you're going to have to use Google. Google is your friend here. If you're looking for interest, you're obviously looking at the banks. Apparently, who is it? African Bank is doing something nice. Not financial advice, by the way. Okay, none of the content is financial advice. They seem to be advertising a lot. I thought it was at 12%, but I think you got to lock up your money for like 5 years or something. So guarantee 12%. So know that if you're investing for interest, you get that 23,800 exemption. Then you're going to be taxed according to your tax rate. What is the best education plan in South Africa? I think I answered this the last time as well. Or maybe it was in a different live. I don't know. But traditionally, education plans is when you invest small amounts, and when your child is around 18, you start accessing those funds to pay down for university fees and tuition and transport and accommodation and all of that. So there's dedicated investment plans in South Africa where you pay and then you get your money back with a return, hopefully. But there's these new sort of investment plans that's a blend of investments and a blend of risk. So risk, when we say risk, it's linked to life, like life cover. So these investment plans, in fact, I did a whole, it's on the how to invest for your kids masterclass. It's on my website, www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. You'll find a link there, and we did a table and I showed you the pros and cons. I didn't label the companies because I work with a lot of companies. I can't speak bad about them just because the product is bad. It may not be good for you. It could be great for somebody else. So I will never mention company names and things like that here. Only the good stuff, not the so-called bad stuff. But there's a nice comparison there. So these risk products are linked to investment products. For example, the one that I have for my kids, it's a risk product where if I had to pass away, the company will take care of my kids' education, their uniforms, excursions, tuition, right up till my children's first degree. Okay, or until they're 24, whichever comes sooner. If hopefully, touch wood, I don't die during that time, I will get a good portion back when they turn 18, and I use that portion to fund the university. Okay, so that's one of the award-winning things that comes out of South Africa. It's won international awards. So it links investment and it links risk. The other way, you can either do a unit trust. A lot of companies push endowments, but I don't recommend endowments for education. Unit trusts are great. You have great flexibility into the type of funds that you can match up with your personal risk level. And we do the education planning for kids. If you start with me one-on-one, we'll probably give you a graph. And if your child is one, we'll show you if you invest 1,000 Rand a month, what can you expect? And we do projections like that. All right, the name of the education plan with the risk, you have to sit through that masterclass where you see the comparison. Most of the companies offer it. Most of the premium companies offer it. So it's not cheap. It's a little bit pricey. Okay, so if there's no more questions, yeah, so just type them up below. If there's no more questions, that'll be it for tonight. All right, cool. So no more questions. If you're keen on that mastermind, please send me a DM. We'll send you an application form. We'll give you more pricing information about that. We'll get started in the first week of August, once a week in August, all the way up till November to try and get you on track. And so you can enter 2023 as an investor. All right, so you guys have a good evening and we'll chat soon. When is the masterclass? The masterclass, it's available on demand. You just go to the website and you click and you register, and yeah, it's pre-recorded and you can watch it there. All right, cool. You have a good evening.